For more on the Gabon coup, we're now joined by Ezenwa Olumba, a doctoral research fellow with the Conflict, Violence and Terrorism Research Centre at the University of London. Very good evening, appreciate your time. I'd like to start off with an analysis of how coups obviously have happened in countries like Gabon, Niger and Mali, and these are francophone countries. Is there a link between the fact that coups are happening and they're happening in francophone countries specifically?
Good evening, Hugo. The coups that are happening, yeah, obviously they're happening in francophone countries, but a connecting factor among all of them is that they were former colonial, they were colonized by France. Mm. The coup in the Sahel, a little bit different from what we were seeing in Gabon, because the coup in Sahel has all elements of anti-French sentiments and anti-neo-colonial, kind of sentiments, and as well as the push by the military rulers or the military, the soldiers in those countries to remove presidents or rulers that they deem to be puppets of some foreign countries. The coup in Gabon is a little bit different because it is coming from the angle of stopping the elongation of the Ali Bongo rule or the family of Bongo's rule in the Gabon. Yeah, but an interesting fact about the coup in Gabon is that the coup was orchestrated by someone who is an inner circle of the Ali Bongo family. Precisely Nguema, Brice Nguema, who is also a cousin, first cousin of Ali Bongo. And the coup, to be frank, as Albert Ossa says, the coup is an extension of Ali Bongo's rule.
Now, could you shed light on the factors that make the Sahel region in particular susceptible to both political instability and the rise of extremist groups? And how do these factors actually interplay?
Yeah, the jihadist insurgencies in the Sahel region for some years now have been one of the key factors that most of the coup leaders or those that conduct coups in Mali, Guinea, Burkina Faso, and even in Niger have used as excuses for them coming to power. And also the French have been, they have had their troops in the Sahel for a long time, but recently they've been pulling out of the Sahel. Yes, the Sahel region is rife with jihadist movements, with conflicts over between the headers and the farmers, but the coup of Gabon is quite different because Gabon is relatively a rich country when you compare the GDP of Gabon and also the income per capita of Gabon with that of their neighbors. So both coups are different, and both coups cannot be, tarred with the same brush.
Now, let's talk about the increasing trend of military interventions and coups and what measures can be taken to strengthen democratic institutions, because there seems to be a lot of that happening in the Sahel region.
Yeah, unfortunately, the military coups are happening in the Sahel region and now also in Gabon, which is in the Central African region. The major problem with these coups are the unconstitutional elongation of terms by the president or the civilian rulers in those countries. Not only that, they are coupled with a lot of problems, economic problems, just like most countries in the West African region. But this idea of a contagion effect of coups happening in the Sahel is really a problem that should be looked into. Are these coups as a result of only the unconstitutional elongation of terms, or do they have elements of a new movement of young people trying to get rid of puppets or rulers who dance to the tunes of Western nations? So it is really a big problem in the Sahel region now because any ruler who doesn't have the desires of their people, who is not really genuine in the sense of, ushering in genuine democracy and rule of law and ensuring that the court systems are adhered to, and also that good governance is the yardstick in those countries, should be feeling insecure now. So, for instance, after the coup in Gabon, the Pope Kagame, the president of Rwanda, reshuffled his military architecture, likewise that of Paul Biya. So if you are a good leader, you shouldn't be scared of your people, trying to remove you from power. So that's one of the problems that envisaged in this region now.
Now, Ezenwa, finally, I'd like us to look at the relations which appear to be strained, certainly between Paris and many of its former colonies. What are your thoughts on that?
Over the years, French has really had a huge control over the economy and political policies and political systems in the Francophone countries. So, for instance, the CFA and their currency is really, controlled by France. And these are the things, among the reasons why these young men, the military leaders or the soldiers, are kind of driving in or riding on the anti-colonial or anti-French sentiments to, take over rule from the civilian leaders.
Ezenwa Olumba, appreciate your time, and he's a doctoral research fellow with the Conflict, Violence and Terrorism Research Centre at the University of London, unpacking for us instability in the Sahel region.